Welcome to the March 10th, 2026 regular meeting of the Troutdale City Council. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilor Andrews, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Kendra, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Andrews.
Here.
Councilor Allen. Here. Councilor Webb.
Present.
Councilor White.
Here.
Councilor Davidson.
Here.
Councilor Laney. Here. Mayor Ripa.
Here. All right. Mike, is there an agenda update?
No agenda update, Mayor.
All right. Well, we'll start off with the agenda item number 2 is public comment. And this is public comment on non-agenda and consent agenda items, which is welcome at this time. Public comment on agenda items will be taken at the time the item is considered. Public comment should be directed to the presiding officer and limited to matters of community interest or related to matters which may or could come before council. Each speaker shall be limited to 5 minutes for each agenda item unless a different amount of time is allowed by the presiding officer with the consent of the council. The council and mayor should avoid immediate or protracted responses to citizen comments. And we'll start off with the, is there anyone who wishes to address the council in public comment on Zoom?
Mayor Paul Wilcox, Troutdale.
Yes, Paul.
Okay, get right into it. I've got my prepared comments. I didn't expect to have a public comment this evening until I picked up my mail yesterday. I received a reminder letter that my term on a city committee expires in June, which I'm well aware of, and also included was a complete committee application packet. Number 1, incumbents should be personally responsible for keeping track of when their terms expire if they're interested in renewing. Everyone's committee term is clearly listed on each committee's webpage. If someone is unsure of their status, they can quickly and easily confirm there. Number 2, at the first 2 committee meetings in March, the members were reminded by their chairpersons whose terms were expiring, having been notified by city staff. So these mailings were a waste of city staff time and resources. Why should incumbents get an application packet mailed to their homes at city expense when non-incumbents have to either print theirs off the website or pick them up at City Hall? This is clearly preferential treatment. Number 3, in light of these mailings, I would request that the city website and social media postings regarding the committee openings offer to mail application packets to anyone requesting one who contacts the city by phone or email. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. Anyone else on Zoom who wishes to address the council in public comment? Seeing no one else, how about here in the council chambers? Does anyone wish to address the council during public comment? Yes, please, come forward.
Good evening, Will Knight. I just wanted to comment on tonight's board and committee presentations and just mention a few quick thoughts. I listened to the minutes, and as Mr. Weston said in the last meeting, he's looking to city committees for budget cutting purposes. It sounds as though he's seeking to cut staff hours from city committees and therefore possibly seek to eliminate some committees. Just wanted to say that this information was not disclosed with the city's email invitation to come here tonight. Secondly, the committee chairs have only had 6 business days in which to contact the respective groups and come prepared for this meeting. In the past, committees have been given a full month notice and opportunity to meet and come prepared. I'm sincerely hoping this is just oversight and maybe poor planning rather than an ambush. But either way, all those in attendance tonight for your presentation should know that we are here, likely auditioning to keep our jobs. To the council, I would remind that goal 1 in Oregon is citizen involvement, and looking to cut there first is a very interesting move. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else here in the council chamber who wishes to address the council on public comment? Okay, seeing no one else, I'll close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. And I'll call on Councilor Andrews again, please.
Consent agenda 3.1 minutes for February 10th, 2026 City Council regular meeting. I move that we accept the consent agenda.
All right, Kenda, please call the roll.
Counselor Andrews?
Yes.
Counselor Allen? Yes. Counselor One?
Yes.
Mayor Redmond?
Yes.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Davidson?
Yes.
Counselor Laney?
Yes.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is a presentation from Multnomah County on ranked choice voting. Do we have someone from county elections?
She's online.
Is she online? Oh,
I
all
am
right.
online here.
Hi, yeah, okay. Not looking up, but you have the floor.
Great. Thank you so much for inviting me here this evening. My name is Leah Benson. I'm the Ranked Choice Voting Project Manager for Multnomah County Elections. I'm going to share some slides quickly. Give me just a minute. Okay. So tonight I'm here to give a brief overview of ranked choice voting. You'll no doubt be hearing from me much more in the lead up to November. The reason I'm here tonight is because starting in November 2026, all of Multnomah County will be using ranked choice voting to elect county officials moving forward. And so we're just beginning our blitz of going all across the county to make sure that folks are aware and that we're providing as much education as possible. And so I wanted to come here tonight to talk to all of you, just to give an overview of what we're doing to prepare for ranked choice voting and make sure that you know that you can contact me with any questions. Really quickly first, what is ranked choice voting? So ranked choice voting is a style of voting that allows voters to rank multiple candidates in order of preference instead of choosing only one candidate. It's also sometimes known as instant runoff voting. A reminder of why we're implementing it. If we go back to November of 2022, voters approved the use of ranked choice voting for future elections on 2 different ballot measures. One ballot measure for all of Multnomah County and another ballot measure for just the city of Portland. I point that out because we had different implementation timelines. For the city of Portland, we needed to hold our first ranked choice voting elections in November of 2024, which we successfully did, which is wonderful because it means that we are now even more ready to use ranked choice voting for all county-wide positions starting in November 2026. So again, we've already implemented for City of Portland. Now we are implementing county-wide based on that ballot measure that passed in November 2022 by the voters. Really quickly, a little bit more detail about how ranked choice voting works. A lot of what you'll be seeing in terms of education from us focuses on how to fill out an RCV ballot, because that is the most important thing to us, making sure that voters know how to confidently express their choice on the ballot. The way that it works is the ballot will look similar to what I have up here on screen, a grid style ballot with up to 6 rankings that voters are allowed to use. To vote using rank style voting, voters will fill in that rank 1 column for whatever candidate is their first choice. And then, if they want to stop there, they're welcome to. However, if voters have a second choice, they are welcome to fill in the rank 2 column, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 6 rankings. Again, voters do not have to use all 6 rankings if they don't want to. That said, using additional rankings will not hurt the chances of their first choice candidate. From there, how these contests are counted is we first look at voters' first choices. If any candidate receives over 50% of the vote by only looking at voters' first highest ranked choice, then they are declared elected. However, if no candidate receives over 50% of the vote, that's the time that we go into that instant runoff part of voting. So what happens is the candidate who has the least amount of votes is eliminated in tabulation, and all of their voters have their vote automatically transferred to their next highest ranked choice on the ballot. And this process continues until one candidate reaches over 50% of the votes. So we're looking for a majority. So in November 2026, these are all of the contests that Multnomah County voters can expect to see on the ballot. There'll be the Multnomah County Chair, the Auditor, Sheriff, and Commissioner for District 2. We're going to be doing everything we can to get the word out about ranked choice voting to make sure that voters are comfortable expressing their choice on the ballot using it. You'll be seeing us communicate about it through all sorts of different ways, including a grant program, which we are actively soliciting applications for right now, that was specifically created to serve voters in the eastern part of Multnomah County, east of the city of Portland. So we have $100,000 that's going to be given to organizations to provide nonpartisan, apolitical voter education about how to vote using ranked choice voting. There will also be a broad paid advertising campaign to try to get people's attention in as many ways as possible. We'll also be partnering with other jurisdictions in the county. Thank you already to Troutdale for being willing to work with us on some things. We'll be working closely with the media to make sure that they're prepared to teach voters about ranked choice voting and to cover election results accurately. In addition to that, there will be information in every single voter's ballots, a full page that explains ranked choice voting, a full page additionally in the voter's pamphlet, and then on top of that, a mailer will be going to every single household in the county before people receive their ballots to let them know ranked choice voting is coming and to give them information about how to access different educational resources on it, including a video that we have that's been translated into all of the county's supported languages. And then finally, we're trying to get out into community and do presentations like this and some more targeted that talk more specifically about how to fill out his ballot in front of as many people as we can. The timeline for that we're in right now is we've been planning this since last year. Right now, like I said, we're in this process of getting grant applications for people that are going to be in the community, providing voter education. Starting this summer, we'll be really gearing up on voter education about ranked choice voting. We want to wait until after this May primary election so that voters can concentrate on what's on the ballot in front of them instead of having to worry about what's coming in November. But you'll see a really big push starting especially in September to get the word out in as many places as possible. And with that, I'll say I would love any ideas or feedback people have about how to get the word out. We are committed to making sure that voters across the entire county feel aware of ranked choice voting and confident using it. So I've put my email address up here, just leah.benson@multco.us. And I encourage anyone to reach out if you have ideas for groups that we should be talking to. If there are communities that you want to make sure we're getting information to, please let me know. I'm all ears and very excited to make sure everyone knows about this. And then finally, I wanted to point you towards some additional information. If you go to multco.us/RCV, you'll find all sorts of materials, including a comic that we created about ranked choice voting. There's a coloring book for kids. There's a wonderful video that explains it. And then there's all the wonky detail anyone could ever possibly want about tabulation and such in there too. And with that, I know that you've got a really packed agenda, so I'm going to stop there for now with the presentation. But thank you again for having me here tonight. This is kind of a kickoff for, again, you're going to be hearing from us much more about ranked choice voting as we hope to make sure people are as aware and comfortable with it as possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll ask if anyone on the council wishes to ask a question, have a comment. And Leah, it is our practice here always to invite public comment, so I will invite any public comment, first starting with those on Zoom who wish to ask a question or make a comment about this matter.
Mayor Ritma, Paul Wilcox, Troutdale.
Yes, Paul.
Thank you, Mayor. I was listening to Ms. Benson's presentation, and a key element of ranked choice voting that I didn't hear mentioned was that it requires a minimum of 3 candidates. So that's number one. The other thing is, some of you on council at least know that I'm pretty big on election reform, so I study this stuff pretty in depth. I've been looking at, the last couple of days, I've been looking at the experiences in Benton County and Corvallis. And it was pretty interesting, actually. I'll try to be brief. There's only a couple of elections to cover. In 24, well, in Benton County, it applies to, I think, county commissioners and sheriff, maybe one other office. The city of Corvallis, it applies to mayor and city councilors who are divided into 9 wards in the city. In 2024, there were 2 positions that had 3 candidates. The other 7 positions had either 1 or 2 candidates. With those with the 2 of 3 candidates, the top vote getting candidate in both of those was around 62%. So ranked choice never went into effect. It never went into the second tier. In the 2022 election, the mayor and 1 ward had 3 candidates, and that was it. And what was noteworthy about that one was that the candidates that got the most votes in the first round ended up being the ultimate winners. So ranked choice voting didn't really make any difference as far as the results go. So I just wanted to bring those. Sometimes it's not effective, or it's not, or it doesn't go into effect, or it doesn't make any difference. That's what's happened in Benton County and Corvallis anyway. So I just thought I'd offer that up for additional information.
All right, thank you, Paul. Anyone
Is it
else
okay
on
if-
Zoom?
Oh, sorry, is it okay if I respond quickly?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, just to say thank you, Paul. That's definitely what we saw with the city of Portland too, in that frequently the candidates that are that are leading in that first round of voting end up being the ultimate winners. I wanted to offer one quick correction, which is just with ranked choice voting, every jurisdiction does it a little bit different. And for Multnomah County, there only need to be 2 filed candidates in order to use ranked choice voting. So as long as there are 2 candidates, ranked choice voting will be used.
All right, thank you for that clarification. In the room, is there anyone who wishes to address the council on this matter? Yes.
Hello, Frank Stevens, Troutdale resident. Actually, the question's for Leanne concerning, is the Multnomah County Office of Community Involvement part of your process for community outreach?
Hi, thank you for the question. Yes, we have been working with them on community outreach and figuring out the ways that they'll support this, because they're going to be out in the community quite a lot too, as they're thinking about the charter committee that's going to be convened for Multnomah County again. So we are working closely with them.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Anyone else? Public comment? Well, I thank you. It does sound like in the May election that's coming up, there are no in Troutdale at least, we don't have any ranked choice voting options.
That's accurate. One important thing to note with ranked choice voting is with its implementation, it means that primaries for county contests are no longer necessary. So county contests will only be on the November ballot moving forward. So anytime we see ranked choice voting, unless there's a special election of some kind, it will only be on the November general election ballot.
All right, understood. I am, this is a personal opinion, that I don't think that's a good change. For decades now, when I've been voting, I understood that if there was a position that was up in November, if there was a primary in May and one candidate won more than 50%, there wasn't a need for a runoff. I like that, but that's a personal opinion. I did look up Troutdale's vote in 2022 when the issue of ranked choice voting was put to the voters of Troutdale, and Troutdale voted no. But of course, we were carried along by the rest of Multnomah County into doing this, and Leah, it's no reflection on you. It's just, I commend the wisdom of the Troutdale voters. And I'm sorry we are having to use it, but we will learn how to do it, and let's do it right. And I appreciate your primer on how to do it, and we'll look forward to more. Unless there's any final comment, I'll move on to the next agenda item. Anyway, thank you, Leah. We'll move on to agenda item number 5. These are the city department and committee presentations. Something we've not done before, so we'll see how this goes. Well, we'll start with Public Works. And welcome, Travis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening. Good evening, Council. I'm Travis Holton. I'm the Public Works Director and Chief Engineer here in Troutdale. And if you go looking for a moment, I'll get my slides started. Move this out of the way. All right, well, as the mayor indicated, I'm here to give you a quick overview of the Public Works Department. Your Public Works Department, what we do is we build, operate, maintain all the critical infrastructure here in the city, and city buildings and facilities as well. This is infrastructure and facilities that are absolutely critical to daily life and to our economy. We provide water, we handle the wastewater, sanitation systems. These things are absolutely essential, and really can't have society without them. Overall department summary, we are the largest department in the city. We have 4 primary divisions. I'll be going over those briefly as we move along. We have 41 total regular full-time staff at present. Public Works has the pleasure of having 22 budgets to maintain because of the various departments and the various special restricted funds and things that we deal with. We operate about over 200 miles of linear infrastructure. That I mean streets, water, sewer, stormwater, and trails, and as well as numerous community and utility sites, buildings, and facilities. One of the 4 primary divisions, one of them is management engineering. That's the division that is my primary group. We provide the overall administration for the department, leadership, supervision, clerical support, engineering, project management. We manage the rights of way, construction inspection, and the list goes on, as you can see. Solid waste, GIS, mapping, and many things. Then I'll go over to the water, streets, and equipment maintenance division. This is led by our longtime Public Works Superintendent, David Schaefer. That division has 15 total staff across those 3 branches that you see there, which are water, streets, and equipment maintenance. Water division, we have 7 staff in the water division. That's of the 15 overall, I mentioned 7 of them are in water. The water division, as you might imagine, handles our water production and storage, distribution, drinking water quality, monitoring, sampling, treatment. We read the meters, we repair, maintain, and test and replace all of them. And we have a lot of customer service calls as well relating to water service, leaks, meter readings, water quality issues, all those kinds of things. And you can see on the right there a quick rundown of some of the overview of the infrastructure involved in that system. Over 67 miles of mains, 4,900 service connections, almost 500 hydrants. We got our 4 reservoirs with 6 million gallons of storage, 6 water production wells that can generate 6.7 million gallons of water a day. In 2025, we produced around 575 million gallons of water for the city. And then we have a couple of special purpose stations where we have pressure boosting stations as well. So those 7 folks maintain and operate all of that. In our streets division, small but mighty, we staff, pavement maintenance, repair, street sweeping, pavement markings, street signs, snow and ice removal. There was a little bit of a scare the last week or two that we might get some snow. Well, these are the folks that are on the front lines, along with help from some of their counterparts, some of their divisions that pitch in and help them out. They also try to keep our city streets free of illegal dumping and debris, handle traffic control issues, and respond to a lot of customer service issues themselves associated with the streets. How much streets? 43.3 centerline miles of city streets. Those are our streets. That does not count the county roads that pass through Troutdale or the state highways. Those are the streets we maintain. And those three folks got themselves over 2,150 signs that they have to track, maintain, replace, repair. Also within this division is the equipment maintenance division. This is an internal services division. So this division is good for providing services within the organization. They do our fleet maintenance, our equipment maintenance, purchasing and reselling of our surplus equipment, mobile and stationary equipment maintenance, electrical maintenance, water and wastewater industrial motors and motor control. So that's all of the industrial equipment that runs our treatment plant, our water wells, our water reservoirs, all those kinds of things. Also the SCADA systems that operate those systems. If you don't know, SCADA is supervisory control and data acquisition. It's a fancy engineering term that basically means the remote control and computerized systems that help us operate the water systems and the wastewater system as well. They also provide our locksmith services for all the city facilities and handle a lot of internal customer service issues. They've got over 45 pieces of mobile and stationary equipment, ranging from small equipment all the way up to big generators that they maintain for us, and 47 fleet vehicles. It's all done by 4 folks. Then we go over to the wastewater division. This is the folks that operate our sanitary and storm sewers. We have completely separate sanitary and storm sewer systems, completely independent. So they also operate and maintain the city's water pollution control facility, which you might hear called the sewer treatment plant. They run the laboratory there. They haul all of our biosolids and land apply it throughout the summer. They do operation and maintenance of all of the sanitary sewer collection system, all of the stormwater collection system, and our stormwater quality facilities that are around the city. They do closed circuit television inspection of our sanitary and storm sewer systems. So that's basically a little camera on a robot. You might see them out there with the truck, that CCTV truck, checking out all the pipes and inspecting them periodically. They do all our inspections for the FOG program, which you've heard about recently when Ryan was here talking about some updates to the FOG program to make sure that grease traps are being operated properly and don't cause sanitary sewer flows or damage to their neighbors. And we have a lot of compliance issues with the wastewater division. They're heavily regulated by the EPA and DEQ, as you might imagine, to ensure that we are treating our wastewater properly and protecting the environment as well as human health. The treatment plant's about 26 years old, and I'll give you a fun little anecdote. The treatment plant, I was here when it was built. It is now older than I was when I started working at the city. So that one hit me today, and I was like, wow, I've been here a long time, and I'm getting old. You can see some of the capacity numbers there. Last year, we treated a total of 487 million gallons of sanitary sewage from the city and hauled over 2.25 million gallons of biosolids, which works out to about 640 truck trips. Typically out to Corbett and Sandy areas around kind of in our general vicinity. They have 51 miles of sewer they maintain. 10 pump stations, 32 miles of storm sewer, a whole bunch of underground injection manholes, ton of catch basins, and I mentioned the FOG program that involves about 75 food service establishments, which And you might be surprised, we have 75 food service establishments here in town. And I apologize that I'm going quickly, but I know you got a lot of presentations tonight, and I'm trying to move through this as quickly as I can. Then I'm going to go over to the Parks and Facilities Division. 3 total staff there. That's comprised of 2 sub-branches, Parks and Facilities. That's the name kind of gave away. Our Parks Division, they handle the operation and maintenance of our city parks, our greenways, and our trails. They do all the groundskeeping for our city parks, our buildings, our parking lots, and our properties. They handle our urban forestry programs, so that's our street trees and the trees in our greenways and our parks. They also charge parks facility rentals with help from the management division. We rent out a number of different kinds of facilities in our parks, and they provide support services for city-produced community events as well. Their job entails 14 developed city parks that span over 70 acres, numerous play structures, sports fields, sports courts, picnic shelters, just to name a few. 8 greenways that take up about 185 acres, and over 17 miles of city-operated off-street trails for those 5 staff to take care of. And then over in Facilities Division, really small staff here, 2 staff that are primarily charged with maintaining our city buildings and similar facilities. They do all of our building maintenance, including structural, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, finishes, carpet, paint, the whole 9. Fire and intrusion alarm systems. That's one of those staffs primarily dedicated to providing our janitorial services and our domestic supplies for the city facilities. Sam Cox facility rentals, Area 3 remodeling renovation projects. They also maintain our city-owned parking lots, so like the Mayor's Square parking lot, the North Downtown parking lot, these other off-street parking lots, all the parking lots associated with our city facilities, as well as our city parks lighting systems. They have 18 city buildings that they have to take care of. Among those are the Sam Cox Community Building, and also 2 buildings that we lease to tenants, which are the Sugar Pine and the Troutdale Police Building that we're all sitting in right now. As well as 3 standalone off-street parking lots. That doesn't count all the parking lots associated with the facilities themselves, these are just the standalone parking lots. We now have 2 public EV charging stations that they have charge of. And then, of course, the last year implemented the metered parking lot, which is also a lot of work with that as well. And we couldn't do this without a bunch of key partners. We do a lot with what we got, but we couldn't do it without others. Of course, y'all, City Council is our most important partner. Our city management, the committees that you'll be hearing from tonight. Multnomah County is a very good partner of ours, very important partner of ours. Gresham, Fairview, and Wood Village, of course, our neighbors are very important to us. The Urban Flood Safety and Water Quality District used to be known as the Sandy Drainage Improvement Company, sometimes called the Multnomah County Drainage District. They go by many names. But we work with them very closely because they are the backbone of the storm drainage system in the north part of the city. State of Oregon, of course, particularly ODOT, and a number of other state agencies that we work with through our regulatory programs. I mentioned DEQ, of course, Oregon Water Resources Department, Oregon Health Authority. All of these are very important to us. And ODOT, Waste Management, our waste hauler that we work closely with to handle everyone's trash and recycling. PGE, Northwest Natural, and the telecoms. While we provide what, of course, I think are the most important utilities, but certainly electricity is extremely important. Communication is very important, and natural gas is very important. You use that for your energy source. Association of Clean Water Agencies and Regional Water Providers Consortiums are a couple of primary examples of some of the industry groups that we work with to partner with all of our other counterparts around the region to help us all be more efficient, work better, and smarter. That concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions the council might have.
Questions from council?
Can you go back to that park side? How many miles of trails do we have?
Over 17. Those are just the city maintained trails. I'm not counting trails that are maintained.
Those are like the ones down Beaver Creek and the ones that we have.
All over, yeah. Beaver Creek, the Chalk Trail, Chalk Trail is probably these days the most well-known one. There's a whole slew of trails scattered around the city through our various parks and greenways.
Well, thanks, Travis. I'll see if there's any public comment on Zoom. Does anyone wish to address the council on this matter? Report from Public Works? Or in the room? Anyone in the room have a question? All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I know I really sped through that. If the council would like a copy of my presentation, Sarah and Ken to have it. I'm sure we'll be happy to provide it to you. Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, thank you. Move on to 5.2, which is the Parks Advisory Committee.
Tiffany Long is not feeling well tonight, so she'll be doing the presentation, but if there's any questions after, I'm Vice Chair Frank Stevens.
Okay.
Tiffany, can you hear us?
And we need, okay, yeah.
I think she's muted.
Here.
Tiffany, are you there?
She's trying to talk, but it's not coming through.
I can bring her up on mine. We don't have a central speaker? Paul's talking.
All in, the band came through just fine. We're not hearing you, for whatever reason.
She's gonna call in, sounds like.
Somebody.
How does that work?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, if you like, Tiffany, if you like, I can go over my notes. Is that going to suffice? The briefing? Chair Long?
Frank is offering to do it.
Okay, until we can correct the technical difficulties, I have enough notes to keep us busy for 5 minutes, so I think we can cover it. So Parks Advisory Committee, our main task is to make recommendations to the City Council on the operation and future direction of the parks and recreation system and matters relating to recreational lands, i.e. parks, open spaces, and environmentally sensitive lands. I want to update that on the webpage. I'm not sure if that's still accurate, but that's what we were given in 2023 as a mandate. So we rely heavily on the Parks Master Plan, which was completed in 2023, which had an extensive amount of surveys. It's probably one of the best plans I've seen from the city. It really gave us the guidelines and, more importantly, 7 goals that we can refer to for our meeting agendas and try and use those goals and the master plan to line up with our agenda items as well. Things that we've done recently, we were heavily involved with the wildfire preparedness and community events at Sandy Palisades. One of our major concerns, obviously, in that area is a potential fire in Beaver Creek. We went door to door with flyers. The turnout was probably the best I've ever seen. I don't know if the staff would oh, thanks, Tiffany. But that one-on-one approach seems to be working really well. It's an approach that we have adopted over the past year, where we spend a lot of time at tabling events, going to parks personally, setting up a tent and just having water available and talking to people as they migrate, sometimes with their dogs, depending on the situation, and trying to highlight every park so that we're seeing where the community is at in our green space. Columbia Park cleanup, the surface area is obviously high on our list. We recently reviewed the capital improvement plan. As a committee, we highlighted that we need to get that play area back to par. It's important that that be a priority. That's well within our 5-year plan as well, but we racked and stacked what our 5-year plan looked like, and then we looked at our 20-year plan, and that one came to the top.
Can I interrupt? Which one was that again?
Which one?
Which park?
The Columbia Park.
Columbia Playground.
Yeah, so the Imagination Station, basically. So the surface is,
Ground, right?
yeah, correct. So we repaired it last year. When I say we mean, I mean staff, the guys actually doing the work. But that's only temporary, and we need to have that repaired. We are exploring other partnerships. I mean, obviously Metro, County, other cities. We did a survey, not a survey, but a economics has a program that monitors cell phone usage in the area. So we highlighted how many people are coming to Imagination Station. Those numbers show that it's not mostly Troutdale, it's mostly from out of Troutdale. So it's important that we reach out for grants and we can use that information to try and pull in partnerships to pay for this. Yeah, we're always thinking about the holistic approach to these goals. So, the street master plan was a big rock this year as well. We went basically around the city asking for input. We're still in work on that one. It's not quite done. The Beaver Creek bridge and trail work, it's going to happen. It's just making all the pieces fit in place. So it's down the road. We did look at the potential for the trail on the Sandy Palisades side and put that pretty much lower on the list because it's going to require a lot of tearing up of the trail to get the materials to make the bridge. So that's probably going to be a next year event. So for this year, we were like, well, let's hold off on that. Let's get the bridge done, and then we'll focus on trail maintenance after that. Robbins Way was updated. I don't know if you guys have been there recently, but the Robbins Way Trail is looking great. There's been a lot of maintenance and efforts done by Parks on that front. A lot of that was from inputs from the Advisory Council, who had inputs from the community. Helen Altus, recently we put in for a community grant for upgrade and repair. That potentially has some connections, which is part of our goals, is to connect not only the parks but schools. Helen Altus gives us a route for a lot of our apartment families, an option to go up the hill without having to use Buxton or any of the streets. They can use an actual trail and then cut across to Troutdale Elementary. It also opens the door to Cherry Park Road, which is another safe routes to school option as well. So we're looking at it holistically from a parks perspective, but also how do we connect parks? And most parks are close to schools, so the two are kind of synonymous. And then we recently had a presentation by an outstanding young individual from Portland State University who lives here in Troutdale and set up a modular skate park at Portland State that set the groundwork for how we do skate parks in the future. It's not about an expansive concrete assembly area that's going to cost millions. It's about modular placement of a skate park in different locations that can be moved and is mobile. So they're looking at Reynolds High School and potentially asking them to use that as a pilot project. You might be on the list for contact. Yeah. So that's kind of bringing you up to speed to where we're at. It's been a busy year. I would like to add that we had the opportunity to highlight what we're doing here in Troutdale at the 2025 Oregon Outdoor Recreation and Trail Summit, which highlights not only the efforts of parks, but the efforts of economics as well. And the fact that we are the gateway to the gorge, and this is a holistic approach to how we bring people in here as a destination, not only as a place just to get gas at the gas station and then move on. Future projects, I would love to see a committee liaison if we could in the future. We didn't have the opportunity to really talk to our committee because of the timeline and get more feedback. I'd like to do that next meeting. Also on our next meeting agenda is we're looking at the viability discussion about park stewardship, which is one of our goals. That's one of the goal 7s. And ambassador programs, as well as the potential for an on-the-ground park ranger. There's definitely a need for an offensive tactical approach to parks. One of the things that Public Works didn't highlight on the Parks group, they are your first line of defense. They're the first ones in the park, everyone seeing what's going on and who's there. If they notice or see anything, they're the equivalent of our security right now. And yet, they're not paid to be our security. So a park ranger would fill both of those roles, and give us the opportunity to do education and connect to schools and write tickets, honestly. It gives us an offensive capability that we know we do not have right now. I know that I would love to see the Troutdale police come back, but that's a personal opinion. It's not a committee opinion. Do you have any questions? I hope I did 5 minutes.
Questions from the council?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
What do you know?
Okay. I'm sorry, I had to use my cell phone. Apparently this laptop, I can't figure out the sound on it. So such is life. I just want to say thank you, Frank. He touched on a lot of the points that I had written down to touch on. We talked to each other before this, so thank you so much for showing up. I had a coughing fit at my kid's concert and I didn't want to bring it there, so I decided to phone in. I just want to add a couple more things. You guys probably all already know this, but the Parks Advisory Committee is made up of 9 community members. We meet the third Wednesday of each month, and in 2025, we held 9 of 12 regularly scheduled meetings. We skipped August for summer break, April due to budget meetings, taking our spot, and then December for the holidays. And at 9 of those meetings, we had quorum at each with 100% attendance at all committee members, at 5 of all committee members at 5 of the 9 meetings. We added 2 new faces last June, and I think they were both great additions. One you're talking to right now is Frank, so we're so glad to have him because he's super active within parks and working with the maintenance crew and volunteering all the time. So I'm so grateful that he joined our committee. And then Tristan Jones has a young family and is often seen out in our parks. So we're just grateful to have both of those voices on the committee. And then he talked a little bit about our community, how we got involved with the community last year. We tabled at 3 different events, the Sandy Palisades event, Movies in the Park, and lastly at the Halloween dog event. And the only really thing that I wanted to add is what we do when we table at an event. I set up posters about everything that's going on. Windy Wonderland, First Fridays, depending on the timeline, the music in the park, anything that's happening in and around with Parks and Recreation. I like to tell parents with young kids about the Little Trout Pay Park. We have current copies of the Champion and the Recreation Catalog available for viewing, as well as a map of all the city's parks. We tell attendees about amenities in our parks that they may not be aware of. And we have a suggestion box on display for community input. Frank and I personally took on setting up community-led Facebook groups for both of the Chalk Trail and the Off-Leash Dog Park. And we have QR codes set up at these tabling events where people can just join those groups. And those are just a really great place for people to be talking to each other. And as an admin of that group, we can share information from the city's website on those pages. And it's just another way to spread information. Another one of my favorite things that I'm doing and the committee is doing and supporting is using the bulletin boards that we have around town. We'd like to see a couple more added, and then taking stewardship over the bulletin boards that are close to us. I've taken on the one at Sunrise Park, and it has information, and I change it monthly about the information. All the city meetings that are happening, there's a little arrow that points to what's happening this week. And I've actually seen people stop and look at it and read it. And so I'm pretty excited about that making a difference. So that's all I wanted to add. I think we've got a great committee of people, and Jonah's doing a great job. So again, any questions for Frank or me?
Questions? Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you both. Carol and I were both on the Parks Advisory Committee before joining, so I really appreciate everything you guys do. And realistically, I guess I just want to kind of clear the air a little bit. I know there were some comments at the beginning about the motivations behind this. I can just say for me personally, I'm just coming at this with a goal of essentially just kind of making sure that council and the committees are aligned. I think community involvement is incredibly important. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't started getting involved on committees and planning commission. So I think I can speak for all of us when I do say we deeply value that. And it is important to have community involvement and community engagement and have that guide kind of where we're at, because you're the voice of the community. So I want to make that clear that I'm coming from a place of wanting to make sure that we're aligned on goals, see how we can best work together to make sure that we're, kind of taking care of all aspects of the city. So to that end, it's really cool to hear that you guys are using data from the economics team on tracking that and potentially getting some funding. I think it's awesome what you guys have done with stewardship. Tiffany from the get-go you're amazing at just spreading the word and getting involvement, and I really, really admire everything that you've done. I'm just curious, out of the 7 goals that you mentioned on the Parks 2020 plan, since we both had a hand in kind of pushing that through. What are you guys most focused on for this year as far as?
So based on the last year's goal too, that community involvement and stewardship has been a focus. Park access and diversity, she touched on that as far as we want to represent. We don't have representation from certain areas of the city, which is something that is it's not a failure, it's just you want to be well represented and get input. Like, we don't have anyone down on the Edgefield side. That whole green space down there I don't have a lot of input from it. So how do we get that into our space in that narrative as well? And then the small ones, I worry about the small parks, these neighborhood parks that I don't want to see them neglected. I know Troutdale and Sharon Nesbitt are going to be some high traffic areas for sure. But that being said, I don't think the neighborhood park should suffer because of that. So I think having input, I think one of the recommendations I heard one of our council members or committee members bring up was having each person assigned to a park. So we keep an eye on like how parks are doing, and then an outreach program for each park, like in the park that rotates. Right? So got a lot of great ideas. It's a bubble of information. So.
I do know that Kiwanis had adopted a park.
That's not.
Are they still doing that?
Not that I'm aware of now.
Speak on that? Yes, we are.
Oh, good.
We
Which
do
one?
Sandy Palisades Park twice a year. We'll be in there on the 28th of March, spreading the stuff they put on the baseball field to absorb moisture, and then doing a cleanup.
Cool.
They normally have a good crew that goes out there.
Pardon?
You normally have a good crew that goes out there.
Yeah, so I didn't.
We're partnering with the Cup. We've got some scouts coming out this year too to help us.
I didn't even touch on our partnerships. So we have SALT, we have Friends of Trees, we have Metro, we have RID, I mean, the list goes on. And then the church group across the way helped out with Ivy up here at Ellen Altus. That was a couple of months ago. So yes.
Yeah, you have the Adopt a Park program, but I don't know how many.
It's a lot like
parks are adopted.
Underneath that same category too goes with the volunteer program. It's not very vibrant and the process is lengthy and not, we got some work to do on that one. Yeah, so I would say goal 2 is a priority right now. Seems to be a common theme.
I guess the final thing I would say is I would definitely, on my way out, I was kind of looking at the trail system a little bit more because that's one of the biggest, I think, priorities on the list. That was interconnectivity and trails that actually go places, right? And I passed it off with some of the GIS. Austin, the GIS and Public Works is great, but all that stuff's open source. He's willing to share. Looking through the streets, using what we have to develop a little bit more of an interconnected route. Even again, I've been on in neighborhoods where they have like the brown trail signs in the neighborhood because it's part of the trail because we kind of have to at this point with this, the development that we've made. But I think it'd be good to see that also be a focus, I think, going forward, and just making sure that we're able to increase accessibility to the river through that, and just trail systems that are interconnected throughout the neighborhoods and maybe reaching some of those areas that are a little bit harder to get to.
That's goal 4.
So you're thinking more like more wayfinding direction for folks to be able to find these trails and stuff?
As a part of it, but even before we get to that point, I think it'd be a good idea for the committee to look at what we have and see what we can do that makes the most impact for making those connected places, and then wayfinding would come next. But
You're on my topic. I'm a transportation equity focus.
perfect. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys do.
Did you have a comment?
Yeah. Actually, a couple of years ago, we had talked about that in council, about wayfinding around the city, past ease of access in terms of getting people around and whatnot. So it's something that we talked about before.
Is it the Historic Landmarks Committee that's working on that, or is it?
No, it's a separate project. Yeah, we want to do the planning for downtown and the Pepsi trail system.
sounds like it. But that wasn't my main question, and I want to ask this to each committee, is what can the council do for you to help you be more effective with your committee?
I personally, that's a question that I'd like to have at the committee level, honestly.
You can always like, activists, or if Tiffany, if you have something, but
yeah,
ask everybody.
I mean, all 7 of these schools that we have from the master plan are all viable. I mean, they all need to be worked, and they all need to be worked potentially at the same time. I don't want to say one has a priority over the other. Maybe that's not the correct way to put it. It's just that they all kind of interconnect. Wayfinding leads to greenways, leads to trails, leads to parks, leads to schools. So I guess what you can do from the committees, from the council standpoint, is I would highly recommend a liaison from the council at our meetings, not as a member that's voting, but as a member that's actually there to translate back to the council what we're doing, but not only that, transmit from the council to the committee. Are we on track? Are we off track? Is this what you're talking about? I've seen it done in other cities, and it seems to be pretty effective. It's not a voting role. It's just an active 5-minute session where you're like, hey, this is what we're doing at council, and this is what we're doing at this committee. Are the two in line? And if not, readjust.
And just for clarity, that's the purpose of this, is to get the liaisons or the chairs from each of those committees to let the council know.
You can run it the other way from the bottom up, where we do a yearly meeting.
Or like just an update every now and then.
Yeah, or an update every now and then.
All right, well, we've got lots of volunteer committees.
Thanks for letting us go first.
So, if you don't mind, I will open it to any member of the public that wants to ask a question or make a comment out in Zoom. Anybody in the room? All right. Well, thank you, Tiffany and Frank, very much.
Thank you.
I served a couple of terms on the Parks Committee too, so it's very, very important to Troutdale. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the Community Development Department. Erica.
One moment here while I pull up my screen. Good evening, Mayor, Council, America Palmer, Community Development Director. And welcome to, what just happened?
It's the side.
Okay, that was weird. It's back, okay. Welcome to Community Development, where we really focus on livability for Troutdale. We focus on good jobs, good housing, safe and connected neighborhoods for all. And we do this by reaching out to our community and community groups to focus on land use development and policies to help shape the decisions that are made in this room tonight. So our department values, we value excellent customer service. We kind of see ourselves as the face of Troutdale because so many folks walk through the doors like different questions because they don't know who to turn to, so they come to us. We like to get customers to yes within the scope of the codes that we have. And we really acknowledge that when people come through our doors with different situations, each situation is unique and we need to meet that situation with care, trust, and consideration. And then, of course, we want to make transparent decisions. And I feel that our department is very clear and consistent, and that's what we work for. So we have 4 divisions. We have the building department, planning department, code compliance, economic, and tourism. So the building division, The building division is responsible for overseeing all construction and trade-related permits. When you need a building permit or plumbing permit, electrical permit, you come to us. And we have 3 full-time employees, and they will walk you through that process. You can apply online for permits at home using our citizen self-service portal. And our building services are provided by the city of Gresham. They're our building official. And Gresham staff, they review all permits and provide inspection services for all trades, building, and fire, life, and safety. So the planning division, we have two full-time employees and we have 2 full-time employees and that really, oh yeah, and 2 half-time employees. And we are responsible for guiding Troutdale's future development, growth, and development. So we have 2 planners, which I think all of you know, Dakota Meyer and Nick Ramstead. And then our 2 half-time employees is Chris Ann Washington. She's our planning tech and administrative assistant. And then we also have Bill Peterson, who helps us through our granting processes and filling out grant applications. So we do current planning in our office, and that's really all of the land use permits that come through, like whether people need a sign permit or they're coming in and wanting to develop a 20-unit subdivision. And then we also do long-range planning activities, which include, going to regional meetings, sharing information, and researching development trends, advancing policies in our comprehensive plan or other related plans that we have. And then we administer grant-funded programs and short-term projects, such as our community projects and grants, which is on that right-hand side. In the past 2 years, we've done wildfire reduction, emergency and natural hazard planning. We've done our downtown parking plan, our urban forestry master plan, and we're kicking off later this month our economic opportunities analysis. A lot of our work kind of focuses on the regulatory items in our department, which is our comprehensive plan, which actually guides our long-term vision and growth here in Troutdale, our comprehensive plan and zoning map, our development code, of course, and then making sure that we meet all the flood insurance guidelines through FEMA as well. Code compliance. We have 1 code compliance officer. He's responsible for promoting and upholding and enforcing the codes and ordinances of the city of Troutdale. I think most of you have met Joe Storage. He provides code compliance, and our code compliance is complaint driven here in Troutdale. He just doesn't go out and enforce codes willy-nilly. People need to actually go online or give him a call and make an official complaint so he can go out and talk to people. And he has a very procedural structure. First, because we're customer friendly based. So he goes out first to inform and really educate people on these codes to make sure that they can get into compliance. And if they are still not complying, he'll give a good stern warning of what's coming next. And then ultimately, if it comes down to it, he will lastly cite potential folks with notices and citing them into court for a trial. And you can actually report online through that website below. So our economic and tourism and development division, we have 2 full-time employees and we have 6 limited term employment folks who are our visitors, our 6 visitor greeters. So our economic development coordinator is Marley Boxler. She couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately, so I'm going to give an update about our current visitation here next. But she oversees our gateway to the Columbia Gorge Visitor Center, the Explore Troutdale website, oversees the implementation of the Town Center Plan, and leads other community projects that we're working on, such as downtown parking and the Sandy River Pilot Shuttle, which is kicking off later this summer. And then we have our social media specialist. He does not report directly to me, he reports to Mike, but he is within this division. And Kevin, he oversees the website, social media management, and assists all departments with different communication tools such as postcards, flyers, and surveys that you might see around town or receive in the mail from time to time. All right, moving on. As I said, Marley couldn't be here. She gave an excellent presentation to the Town Center Advisory Board last month, and I really encourage all of you to go on the city's YouTube channel and watch it, because I am not going to speak as eloquently as she did or provide you with as many slides as she did, because I have to be quick. But she provided a wealth of information about visitation management here in Troutdale. So with that, in 2024, the city, we completed a brand destination strategy. I hope all of you remember it. It kind of focused on 6 key themes. And our goal this year in 2025 has really been focusing on that brand and shifting the perception that, of Troutdale just being a stopover place to get gas. We want people to come here. We want people to spend money. We want people to stay overnight, to enjoy what we have here in Troutdale, because we have a lot of different things for folks to stop and enjoy. The brand voice that we're putting out there is inviting, a little folksy and adventurous, and we just hope to get people to stay and spend money here. So this past year, Marley has put together, actually, some I have. Kinda pass these around. The stationery or swag that we can give out to folks as they come to the visitor center. And when people call too and ask questions of us, we like to get their information so we can actually handwrite them a note about Troutdale. Having that little specialty of getting something in the mail from the person that you just spoke to. It's really special. It makes a good first impression. So here we put together our postcards, our little notepad, and then we've also put together a Wander the Waterfalls map and brochure for folks that we have at the Visitor Center for people to take as they wander off through the waterfall corridor. So the first page of that map really focuses on downtown Troutdale and the amenities that we have, because it all starts here in Troutdale, and that's what we want folks to know, and that is our messaging. And then it shows all the different parks and amenities all the way to Multnomah Falls. So downtown events. I love this slide because, today the smelt was running. And when we were crafting our brand, we really did a deep dive with the Troutdale Historical Society, pulling historical photos that we could use, and, doing, some good research of images we could, put out about Troutdale and our small town character. So First Friday, we have 5 years now of some data representing First Friday and visitation. And you can see here, once again, in 2025, we are, every summer, more and more folks are turning out to our First Friday events. You see, though, the little dip, the blue little bar for July. 4th of July was on a Friday this past year, and we didn't have it, so that's why it has a little dip there. And unfortunately, it'll be the same way this year. The 4th of July is on a Saturday. City staff, we have that Friday before off, and unfortunately, we just can't put it on. Windy Wonderland, again, you can see here, 2025 has been our most successful year. We had a great turnout. for the Christmas tree lighting on Sunday. And we really expanded Windy Wonderland through the holiday market, the 2-day holiday market, the scavenger hunt through the downtown businesses that the downtown businesses just love. And once again, just creating a really festive atmosphere at a time that can be really cold and dreary for folks. So moving on to our tourism visitation data. So our downtown visitation, once again, it's increased in 2025. And we continue as we work on our downtown branding and messaging and having people at the visitor center. People are getting the word out about Troutdale and what we offer and all of the amenities that we have here. And we are seeing more and more people through the spring and summer months. So what are we doing in 2026, this upcoming year? We're gonna be expanding the distribution and of our maps and our brochures throughout the region. We're gonna begin collecting on short-term rentals. Council adopted the new ordinance just a couple of months ago. We're promoting and activating the spaces in Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park. And then the Sandy River Shuttle Pilot will also be kicking off later this summer with the hope of making it easy for folks to float the Sandy River and easing congestion along the highway and just making it an overall better environment for safety for folks. And we are calling this little shuttle the Trout Route. And you're the kind of, I think you're the second committee now or to see our kind of the new branding that we're putting out. So it's been fun. And so with that, I can answer any questions. And I do want to say that the 4 committees that we are liaison to, the community development is liaison to, are here tonight. We have the Planning Commission, we have the Historical Landmarks Committee, we have the Community Advisory Committee, and we have the Town Center Advisory Committee. So we have lots of committees that our staff goes to every month.
All right, thanks, Erica. Question? Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, I saw a lot of that content that you passed around on this design and everything. I think it was Planning Commission. Really well done, looks great. I think it is awesome, and I think it'll look good eventually when we get a hotel up and running and have that in the lobby and just really expand on everything that we're doing. So appreciate you guys.
Other questions? Thanks, Erica. Well, let's see if anyone on Zoom cares to ask a question. Community development? How about in the room? Okay. Well, great. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to volunteer committees that you support. Starting with the Planning Commission.
It's like going to principal's office or something.
No, just tell us anything.
Good evening, Mayor Rittman, councilors. First, I'd like to thank you for your commitment to the city and all the time that you guys put in. And I'm here tonight representing the Planning Commission, Tenny Stephenson. I'm here with Vice Chair Shirley Prickett. And a number of our members are in attendance tonight. Others consist of Paul Wilcox, Sandy Glanz, Adrian Kester, Rich Allen, Kevin Minkoff, and the alternate this year is Frank Stevens. We meet on the second Wednesday and fourth Wednesday of the month, depending on what our workload is at the time. And what do we do? Kind of consider ourselves, a lot of times we're the last stop before things get to you. So something we actually take very seriously is to make sure that when things come to your desk, they've been thoroughly reviewed and they are ready to be approved. And we do a lot of that work. And other things that we do, primarily we're responsible for land use, planning, and zoning. We're responsible for writing and implementing the Troutdale Development Code, implementing land use policy, development plans for land use, variances, things we do, redevelopment plans, subdivisions, zone changes, comprehensive map amendments, conditional use permits. We review and comment on cities' master plans. We review and write land use related plans. And then we hold quasi-judicial and legislative hearings in accordance with the Troutdale Development Code, Metro Code, Multnomah County Code, and state law. And we accept public testimony from the applicant, the community. We write finding of facts and conditions of approval or denial for land use application that we're looking at based on criteria in the Troutdale Development Code or other land use documents that are used to evaluate that application. So those can be the development code, the housing needs analysis, comprehensive land use plan, Troutdale Town Center plan. We implement state laws, and we also implement and approve conditions that come in from planning staff, public works, Gresham Fire, Multnomah County, places like that. So in addition to our normal hearings and development code updates that we do, things that we worked on in 2025, we worked on the parking management plan that came from CAC, town center map and boundary change that came from TCAB, implemented CFEC rules and other land use changes that came from the state of Oregon, worked on the Troutdale Historic District that came from the Historic Landmarks Commission, and we worked on the west of 257th design standards and the Halsey Street projects still. And so what are we planning for 2026? In addition to any land use applications, public hearings, Planning Commission will be working on development code updates, the economic opportunities analysis, middle housing land division standards, the urban forestry plan with the Parks Committee, the finishing off the final lots in the TRIP projects, the Second Street Bridge study, updating the housing needs analysis, writing code and implementing code for the 11 land use related bills that are coming down from Salem, new ones, just saying. So that's what we're doing and working on. And no,
You're good.
you're just keep going. Okay. So, you know, I know you're going to ask, what are we the most proud of? Or at least in my time on the commission, we've not had a case overturned on appeal to the City Council or to the Oregon Land Use Board of Appeals. And you're thinking, how many cases is that? Well, it depends, but I was going back looking at some previous data where and this is a lot, we did 4 hearings, a meeting, twice a month. And that's a lot of cases. We don't see that many now, but we still see a lot of times several a month. So that's something that we're really, really proud of. We rewrote the entire development code ourselves without consultant help. We went through about 8 staff members, and I think they went through a lot of liquor through the process. But eventually we got there, and I think we have a great product that the city can be proud of. And also just something else that you may not be aware of. Troutdale partnered with the Port of Portland on the TRIP project and the Sandy Drainage Improvement Company to create the largest off-site flood storage mitigation site in the area. This received national attention and resulted in 88 acres of additional flood storage to accommodate extreme weather events and climate change. Additionally, this resulted in more developable land for Troutdale, made it possible for the Amazon facility and other projects to be constructed within the floodplain. And so we're kind of proud of that too. So with that, that's kind of what we have to say for ourselves. And with that, we'll take any questions.
All right. Well, thank you, and the Planning Commission. That's another.
And I was going to say too, I just want to say too, we consider ourselves a little bit of a farm team, okay? Because Dave Rittma came from the Planning Commission. Zach Andrews came from the Planning Commission. John Leamy came from the Planning Commission. And then we also have a couple of retreads now who were on city council that have come back home in Rich Allen and Sandy Glanz. And we're just very proud of what we've been able to the contributions we've been able to make to the city.
Thank you, Danny. Thanks a lot. Questions from the council?
You kind of, it's great. This is, and appreciate your work. I'm gonna ask kind of the same question, maybe a little different way. It sounds like you're doing a lot. And my question would be is, do you feel like the council can do anything for you guys? Or is there anything that you would like to do more for the council in terms of communication or anything like that?
Speaking for me, I would say I think the communication is fairly good. I will say often one of you or maybe multiples tune into a meeting or attend a meeting. And I think that is really very important for all of us and even the staff that's there to see that you guys are engaged in that process and seeing the work that's done. And then, when we have the selection committee, we have all these things, but it's like, you really almost need to tune into some things to see what's going on, to see, what work's being done and how meetings are being run. And is it something that we're all proud of, or is it something, well, those guys, And so I think the communication's good. It can always be better, but I think it's really good. One thing I'd like to see, and this is coming up, but right now, we'd like to see a little more ability to have more enhanced minutes. That's been an issue for us, and that's something that we've talked about because the state standard is pretty sorry. And when you're dealing with technical quasi-judicial land use applications and things, we like to have something a little more robust than what Salem requires. And I'd be surprised Salem would want what they require if there was actually a hearing down there. They'd be like, where's the rest of it? And I know you can go online, but to sit through one of those things, some people would rather go to the dentist, some people would rather watch the meeting. But I think, that would be something where if we had a little bit more resources, it could help everybody do a better job. And help you guys when you read the minutes too. Have a better understanding of that work that's being done.
Can I ask just a quick one? You guys do record it on Zoom, right? So
we do.
Digital record that's put on YouTube as well, and then it's like consolidated minutes?
Yeah, there's a digital record, and we've talked about this, and just a number of the members were like, is somebody really gonna sit down and watch 2.5 hours of Zoom to figure out exactly what?
Said I do.
I know you do, but
it's 1.75 times usually gets through it pretty quick.
It's just, I don't know that everyone's gonna do that. And if someone's like really, are they gonna take the time to do that, or would they be effective reading the minutes? Or is it wrong to have both?
I think, it's funny because Mr. Trumke and I were talking about this exact thing earlier. And there's software out there that will transcribe the meeting and I think even Zoom or it might be Teams. Teams has like an AI button or something like that where it will print out a report following the meeting, but I don't know if Zoom has the same capability.
I don't know. I would have to talk to Sarah, but I know
Teams does that.
There's some, and I understand, it's just, like we deal with a lot of attorneys and consultants, and, we've got, some pretty professional people in the room, and we just want to make sure that everything is done the right way. And I'm not saying we couldn't do that, it's just,
Salem will ask for the video anyway.
I know.
for their own review purposes, but.
Okay, other questions from the council? Yes, sure.
More than anything, First of all, Councilor Glantz never left the planning. I think she watched every meeting on Zoom. But, no, I just want to thank both of you. Your longevity on our planning commission is invaluable. And I'm sorry to see that the state is stepping in with like CFAC. But even with that, you guys have done a great job navigating through it. I like to go to your meetings, especially if it's quasi judicial, because I know there's a potential it'll come to us next. And I'm always impressed at how well you guys run your meetings, and the complexity of what you guys deal with. It really takes a load off of council knowing that that's your wheelhouse and you guys do a great job handling it. So
Thank you.
I wanted to thank both of you for that.
Second.
Agreed. Other questions from council? Any public comment or questions on Zoom? Or questions or comments from in the chambers here? All right, well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to the CAC, Citizens Advisory Committee.
Thank you, Mayor Ritma and city councilors. My name is Adrian Kester. I am the current chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee. I will also note that of the 11 volunteer panel that consists of the Citizens Advisory Committee, that we have 6 here tonight. That is sort of both a measure of the level of dedication that our volunteers have, but also the level of cross-pollination that we have between the CAC and all of the other volunteer committees, something that we take distinct advantage of when it comes to part of our mandate, which is being the kind of the primary actor in increasing citizen involvement and communication pursuant to Goal 1. So communication between the committees is, I'm part of one of the things that we've kind of decided is an essential component of increasing that citizen involvement. As this council is aware, part of one of the things that we've done in the past year-ish is putting together a committee charter document, sort of a guiding principles document, which we brought before this council and got your blessing on the direction that we were going. More recently, one of the things that we've been working on is kind of a checklist document of putting some guardrails and some consistency around the process of bringing members of the public who bring things to the CAC. What sort of process do we use to consistently, accurately, and effectively bring those issues that are presented to us as a committee to you as city council? So we're working on that process right now. And in addition to all of those efforts, we've been collecting information from city staff and from other committees as far as what efforts is the city doing today to increase communication, to enhance communication back and forth between the citizenry and the city of Troutdale. Our planning department has made excellent improvements in recent years as far as the information that has been put up on the website. Our social media person has put excellent information up on the website and on social media, and we are greatly appreciative of all of those efforts because it is a distinct improvement over some of the things that came, or probably more importantly, did not come before. So in addition to all of that, part of our role as CAC is sort of as a stopping over point for legislative amendments and major projects, many of which are bound for planning commission, the planning department comes and sees us to get our input as CAC on those efforts. Most recently, the one that most recently took a stop over at CAC is the Halsey Corridor Design Standards. That has come to us more than once for input and updates. So I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible, but I know as far as 2026 goes, Dakota and Erica have made us abundantly aware that there is a lot of really big stuff coming down the pipe, that many of which will be coming to CAC for input. So we look forward to fulfilling that role and that mandate going forward, and doing what we can to enhance the two-way communication between the city of Troutdale and its citizenry. So with that, I will be happy to answer questions.
All right, thank you, Adrian. Questions from the council?
Just ask kind of the same question, like, is there anything that the council can do for you or anything you would like from the council?
I think the only thing I would say is that, I mean, since our primary focus has been, the increase of free-flowing information to and from the city. One of the things that has been, I think, somewhat lacking in past years is effective communication of why certain things are happening to the public. As we all know, there are a lot of decisions that get made that affect our citizens that we personally and as we publicly don't really like, but we don't really have a choice. Thank you, Salem. Effectively communicating the why behind that is something that, at least in my personal opinion, is something that we're not terribly good at. So anything that can be done as the city and promoted by council to increase that free flow of information, the education and the explanatory of why we're doing what we're doing, I think will be most helpful.
Yes, Glenn.
I just have a comment. I want to thank you for your excellent report. CAC is one of my favorite subcommittees. I started on that committee. I served on it for 6 years, and I see some of my alumni out there, Will Knight and Victoria Rizzo and Tanny Stephenson and my own wife, Diane. It's a great committee because you're really like the root of the city, I think, is a good way to put it. And you're the voice of the citizenry. And we often send work your way, and we're always happy with the results. Thank you for your work.
Can I ask Adrian, do you have any ideas on how we might be able to get that information out a little better?
Well, that's one of the things that we've been doing in recent months, is trying to brainstorm those efforts, and we pass those along to staff as we come up with them. Increasing or having different kinds of informative things in the Champion, having more expansive articles or sometimes easier to navigate articles on the city website, increase or highlighting certain very important things, sometimes repeatedly in social media, is sometimes effective. One of the things that that as a committee we're working on planning, hopefully here in the next few months, is a town hall where we can have a hopefully well-publicized event where the public can come together with members of all the different committees and potentially city council and city staff to have a gathering point, have a focal point where we can trade information and promote things and promote volunteering, promote involvement, and all of that fun stuff. So I mean, that's And it's a lot of what we have been doing, only more. Is I guess what and a lot of what we're working on, because city staff and the planning department in particular has really done an excellent job of increasing visibility in the last couple of years. So I mean, I applaud them for that.
I just have a
Thanks,
follow-up. I just had, because it's really interesting to me, I was wondering with the town hall concept, is there a focal point for that? Is there like some way to steer the conversation toward a goal or objective of the town hall?
TBD, I would say. I mean, those discussions are largely in their early days. I think we would, I mean, if you want to come and have a chat with us about it, we would certainly welcome the discussion. But yeah, and that's, I mean, to a large extent, that's sort of early process.
And then speaking of that, the other groups have told us which days of the month they're meeting. You guys are?
We are the first Wednesday.
Okay, well, thanks, Adrian. Any public comment or questions from on Zoom? The CAC? How about in the room? Anybody? Well, hey, keep up the good work. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I'll move on to the Historic Landmarks Commission. Now, Aaron, you have appeared just in time. You're muted. Aaron?
We can't hear you.
You are muted. You unmute yourself.
The bottom left.
I can see on the screen you're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
There you go.
Does that work?
Excellent.
Yay. Sorry, it went to a different screen. Maybe that's what happened to Tiffany earlier. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Erin Janssens. I'm the chair of the Historic Landmarks Commission. I apologize I'm not there in person. I'm either battling a cold or allergies, one or the other, but it's enough to say I didn't want to expose the group to something that might be starting. So I want to say we have a great group of people of 7 members. We have Adrian Kester, Diane Castillo-White, Donna Landers, Frank Stevens, Jim Hill, Leanne Stevens, who serves as the vice chair, and myself. And then as an alternate, we have Aaron Baumgartner. For staff, we have Nick Ramstead, who's fantastic. And on occasion, we also get the pleasure of the support of Erica Palmer. So we are really pleased with the staff support that we get and the great group of people that we have. We've actually consistently always had a really great group of citizen involvement from the Historic Landmarks Commission. So we're really lucky about that. We meet the 4th Thursday of every month. And our key purpose and responsibilities of the commission include landmark designation and review, of course, reviewing applications to establish, amend, or remove historic landmark designations, development review, if so needed, evaluating development proposal for historic landmarks to ensure compliance with the standards, policy advising, that'd be providing any recommendations to you, council, on any policies, programs, and strategies to help support historic preservation. And then creating historic districts, of course, working on projects like creating our first historic district, Hungry Hill, to celebrate the city's early beginnings. And then we've got this certified local government, the CLG, supporting the city's efforts to obtain or maintain certified local government certification to access grants and training. In addition to this, you've seen me pretty recently, just in this last year, twice, both in May and then again in October, to approve both moving forward with the CLG application, as well as the minor tweak to city code to support moving forward with the creation of a historic district. Currently, we're finalizing both the details of the existing plats, historic plats, with a historical overview, as well as the narrative for submission of the Hungry Hill District back to the planning and council for its actual creation. So you'll be seeing a guest again soon, I hope. We anticipate approval for 2026, fingers crossed. And so I anticipate we'll work on finalizing the sign design and narratives for the educational and informational plaques that will be near a border or so along a well-trafficked area that heavily trafficked area that people may access and get information about the historic district. In August, several of our members participated also in hosting a booth the first Friday to both inform and then spread the word of the upcoming historic district, so that when people heard about it, possibly or read about it in the Champion or within the council minutes, that they would have more information about what the historic district was and where it was going to be and how it would impact or not impact them. And then also give them general information about opportunities through the HLC. And I think people felt pretty positive about their interactions with the public and the discussions they had there. So it's very positive. Other than that, we've got we've got a great group of people, and I'm really excited by finally getting forward with Hungry Hill. And I feel like we can see a light, kind of, not that it's an end of the tunnel in any way, but I feel like we're about to have a significant accomplishment, which feels really good for the group.
All right,
Do you have questions?
Yeah, questions from council?
I'll ask my same one. Aaron, is there anything that the council can do for you, or that you would like from the council to help you in your endeavors?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. We've got great staff support. I feel like, I think Tanny mentioned notes, like meeting minutes. We used to have those way back in the day. And I think the continuation of meeting minutes would be helpful, especially when there have been times where we miss a month or maybe two, or and so for the group to come back together and continue and not lose momentum, I think that those meeting minutes are really, really helpful, and we don't have to go back and remember what we were what the discussion was and how it was going and the progress that we had already made. We tends to be 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So I think meeting minutes are really helpful.
Anybody else?
I just have a comment. Historical Landmark Commission was my favorite one of being on, so I really miss going there. But it's exciting to see that things are coming to fruition, and so it's exciting.
Yeah, we miss you, Carol, but we're glad you're where you're at too. And yeah, it is pretty exciting that it's finally happening. And I really have to commend the staff for that. That without the staff support, it was really difficult to make those achievements. And so we really appreciate both Nick and Erica. They're key. Yeah.
All right, any questions from the public on Zoom for the Historic Landmarks Commission, or from anyone here in the room? Well, you're doing a great job.
Okay, all right.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much. Really,
Really
it's a team effort.
What you're doing. And thank you, and get well soon.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We'll move on to Town Center Advisory Board.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the invite here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. Center Advisory Board. I am going to read it, and then turn it over to Tanny for a little more additional details, and of course, color commentary. So great at. I'm going to be reading something that is more or less prepared for somebody who may not already have any relation to Troutdale, so some of this is going to be the Town Center Advisory Board, or TCAB, is an advisory committee formed to support and foster the implementation of the city's town center plan. The plan, initially adopted in 1998 and updated in 2020, serves as the primary guiding document for physical, social, and economic growth in the town center district, which includes downtown and the surrounding area. The board advises on development, revitalization, and related initiatives to enhance the area's small-town character, livability, visitor experience, and economic vitality over a 20-year horizon. There are 10 total members, 5 nominated by council, and 1 each to represent their respective committee, CAC, Parks, Planning, Public Safety, and Historic Landmarks. Meetings are typically held on the 3rd Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. right here in the Kellogg Room. They are open to the public in person or via Zoom, with agendas, minutes, and packets archived online at the city's meetings portal. Videos of meetings are also posted on the City of Troutdale's website YouTube channel for those who wish to dig deeper. The group is actively working on the confluence of Troutdale. This is a major ongoing focus. It's roughly a 20-acre riverfront redevelopment project on a former industrial urban renewal site along the Sandy River, adjacent to Damon's Valley. 4 of those acres have been converted into the Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park. It aims to create a vibrant mixed-use extension of downtown with new development potential. TCAB has been involved in opening RFQs and interviewing applicants over the years. In May of 2025, TCAB interviewed the Ethos Development team and discussed its qualifications. The following month, the group made a recommendation to the Urban Renewal Agency that they move ahead with an exclusive negotiating agreement. In late 2025, an ENA was signed to begin formal negotiations with Ethos. The board continues its involvement via regular staff updates on progress and offers valuable community engagement and feedback. Other recent projects include downtown parking management. In October 2025, the board reviewed and discussed the final downtown parking management plan and its recommendations. Additionally, the 2025 Tourism and Economic Development Review was on the February 2026 agenda. This ties into broader efforts to boost economic activity in the town center. Now I will turn it over to Vice Chair Tanny Stebbins.
Thank you, Will. I would just say, this is an offshoot of the committee that started in 2017. And that group was made up, several of them, I just think about Aaron Janssens and Diane Castile-White and John Leamy, Will Knight, myself, and I'm forgetting others, but there was 22 of us that worked on that plan. And I know Frank talked about the park plan being the best plan, and I just have to say, I just feel, no offense to parks, but I just feel like the town center plan was the best plan. And I'll tell you one reason why. We didn't spend $50,000 or $100,000, and not the parks did, but you can spend that on a plan. We wrote that entire plan ourselves. And I know it's a good plan because everybody talks about it all the time. And we're really proud of that, the work that was done over those years and how that's helping to shape Troutdale. And the work that TCAB's doing, it can all end when a plan gets written. But the beauty of this is that's all carrying on. The legacy of that plan and the implementation of that plan, because there's a group that's working to make sure that all of that is done, because you guys really don't have the time, sorry. And staff doesn't have the time either. So you need somebody sometimes just knocking on doors, doing what needs to be done. And I think it's a great time for Troutdale, and I'm proud to be involved in it. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks. Questions?
Yeah, go for it. It's kind of the same question. Is there anything that you want from council to help you succeed in your implementation of your plans? Or is there anything that you would like to do more to the council,
I know that it would reassure and be a reassurance to the Town Center Advisory Board if the council would give us the thumbs up that we are still going to be involved in the process, and it's not going to be we get kind of pushed aside and council takes it over. We'd still like that back and forth and be able to review as this process continues to go along, everything from negotiations forward. I know that was something that the TCAB would love to be able to have that assurance that we're going to continue to be involved.
All right. And yeah, Glenn.
Yeah, thank you, Will. Good presentation, and Tanny. I agree that I think TCAP, and especially the confluence side, is probably the most important thing the town's facing right now, because we got to get that right. And I love the plan that you guys came up with. My wife's on the committee, so I often eavesdrop on while she's zooming the call. So I'm very aware of the work you guys are doing, and I think you really captured what Troutdale citizens want and the balance of what we need for the future of Troutdale. And I think that's can put us on the map. But it's got to be that plan. I want to make sure you guys are lockstep following that thing to the end.
I think it can put you on the map or put you on a target, one of the two, depending on how you do it.
Well, I talked to several of our new businesses and some that are planning to locate in Troutdale, and they're all just thrilled with the vibrancy of Troutdale's downtown. And I think TCAB has a lot to do with that. And it's part of the energy of our city, our community, and thank you very much for that. I invite any public comment from out in Zoom or here in the room. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this is Sherry Winters. I just want to say I'm a little bit of a come lately to the TCAB committee, but I want to tell you that I am thrilled to be on it. I'm appointed via public safety, and it has been just a privilege, and I feel like for my 30-some years of living in Troutdale, I feel like it's very honoring to Troutdale.
Well, thanks, Sherry. Yes, Will.
Yeah, stepping out of that role, and just to address my comments at the beginning, I appreciate the additional commentary since those comments. And I just wanted to say that if I misread and misinterpreted what was being said at that time regarding the budget coming up and staffing, then I would then apologize to Mr. Weston for the comments, the council and my peers as well. And it would actually welcome a city council that supports, encourages, and wants to be involved with the city committee. So thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Will. All right, moving on, we have the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee.
Mayor and councilors, my name is Shelby Stephenson, and I'm chair of the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee, and Victoria Rizzo is my vice chair. Our committee is charged with evaluating and making recommendations to elected and appointed city officials regarding matters of public safety, including law enforcement, fire, and medical services. In January of 2025, you might recollect that our group came before you and gave the results of our public safety survey. Our goal was to provide information that would be helpful for short and long-term goals related to public safety. Since then, we have looked into building more public safety awareness through events like the night out that Wood Village does, or something like small neighborhood gatherings like Fairview does. We've also talked about encouraging neighborhood watches. We want to foster neighbors looking out for neighbors to enhance public safety. Currently, we are looking closely at the sheriff's law enforcement reports, seeking better understanding of the data provided to us, as well as it being in a more helpful form, some of it. We're working with a data analyst. They're reviewing their reports, so hopefully we will get some more changes this year. In addition, we have considered what we can do to be proactive on keeping our community safe, trying to address like problems before they become a big issue. So we've looked at or talked about, not that we have a solution for, like the intersection of historic Columbia River Highway and Buxton, and 1 block south there on 2nd, where all these people are crossing, pedestrians trying to cross to the food carts. We've also talked about speed signs near Reynolds High School. It's been brought to our attention, maybe some consistency there. I think that Mike Weston informed me that the Public Works is working on that. It just came up recently, the crowded bus stop near Troutdale Road and Stark Street right after school gets out. There's a bus shelter that's really close to the road. So I don't know what we can do necessarily, but it's been brought to our attention. We're looking into that. And then additionally monitoring what's happening at Sharon Nesbitt Park and our trail system. Just want to make sure we are addressing any public safety concerns. So our committee meets the first Thursday of the month at 6:30 in this room. The members of our committee are Frank Stevens, Kelly Wesson, Rich Allen, Victoria, myself, Twyla Harrington, Mary Howe, Sherry Winters, who's here online. And right now, we do not have a representative from the Reynolds School District, but we did for a short time have someone who joined us last year. So we just always want to be aware of what's going on with the school. We're working on, actually, we just recently have got some communication from the resource officer there. So that's information for us on any sort of issues they've had there. So, and at this present time, we don't have any recommendations for City Council, but we appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you tonight. And with that, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
You covered it well.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Council.
I mean, I'm just gonna kind of ask the same thing. You said you don't have any recommendations for us, but is there anything that you, sounds like you're doing a lot. But if I can read through the lines, it just doesn't sound like maybe you have a lot of direction on certain things that like, hey, hammer down on this. So what would you like from the council in terms of maybe that direction or specific things to work on that gives you something hard to work on? How?
I think we're just, I think as a group, we're just trying to hear from the community. We would love to hear, as well as us being out in the community. We try to pay attention and notice things that might be something to make sure to, a member brings up stuff they've seen, so then we start talking about it. Well, who should we address this issue with? How can we make some change in the area? So I think the biggest thing is just we'd love to know what's going on with the police and fire. Obviously, we did a public safety survey before, and the community seemed to be very interested in getting our own police back. And I know I don't know how we make that happen, because that's budget, that's a whole lot of stuff that we can't answer, but all we can do is bring the information that the public seems to want. And if it's not feasible, okay, you guys will run the numbers, you'll figure that out. But we basically just try to be a voice. And if we see something happening, and we'll bring it to your attention. But also too, if there's stuff that you want us to seek information on, like related to safety things that you have seen. I guess if there's something that we should be talking to the community, you guys see this as an issue? I mean, we'd be happy to do another survey. We did it on a shoestring budget last time, and we could do it again. And I think that we did get a lot of, I think we could even get more involvement than we did last time, which I thought was fairly well, so.
Thought so, yeah.
Yeah, so quick question, hypothetically, with our own police force, I imagine a representative of our police force would be present at meetings potentially. So would you say that you are currently getting enough data from Multnomah County Sheriff and other means that you would be able to kind of look through a lens of that and be able to like essentially kind of like bring somebody up to speed as much as you could from what from your end, from what you're seeing?
Well, I think that's what we're wrestling with right now. We're trying to get our head around the data. We have so many pages to the reports.
Right.
And there's the difference between calls for service
right.
and the actual crimes, right. things that occur from these things. So I think we just find there's a lot of these reports, we're trying to decipher what's really telling us anything. And even we are joined by our Nick, our police officer for Troutdale. So he joins our meetings and he tells us what he's seen happen, but he can't answer reports on because he's not an analyst.
Right.
So we just, if there was any sorts of things that committee members bring up, as, oh, I saw this happen in my neighborhood. I'm not seeing this for sure on the report. I don't understand. And if he can shed any light, if he was involved, he would. If there was talk in the office, if he wasn't on that call. So I think that we are struggling with the data really that we get to, just looking for that red flag. But like Nick says, if it's a red flag that in the reports, they would be addressing it. But we just feel like from the perspective of citizens, we need to bring what citizens are feeling and experiencing. Because I think, honestly, I think it's part of the policies that come from the top that kind of maybe under-report stuff. So what do people feel, really, what are they experiencing? And so that we're just trying to dig through the data, but we're still trying to, every one of us is trying to figure out, well, this isn't making sense to me. I saw something in my neighborhood and I can't find it on the report, or it doesn't seem to come up as what I experienced. But some of it is jurisdiction. Some of the stuff we don't see because it started in Gresham, so that's where the call originated and ends in ours, and there's all these cops in our neighborhood, but it's not reported. But if it starts in ours, but it leaves our area, and then it's reported in our area. So it's kind of, because we don't have our own department, or our police stay here, they cross. I don't know, I think that's part of the problem too, is we just don't have a total sense about it. So.
Thank you. So can I interject a hypothetical here?
Mm-hmm.
If we're able to bring back our police, and there's a chief that's present or a lieutenant that's present that's able to give a monthly report on what's transpiring within city limits, is that going to be beneficial? And I guess my follow-up question is with the PSEC group, what can we provide, or what's going to answer some of those questions? It seems like it's like a ominous black hole of questions on what's happening here, or what's happening there. I saw something on the scanner. I saw a police turn their lights on down the road. How can you answer all those questions to every single person that has a query, if you will? And so getting positive direction out of these different queries in a meaningful direction that can relate to a policy or something. How can we bridge those gaps and create something meaningful and purposeful from our end? It's a very roundabout question.
I don't know that. I think that when I joined the committee, we used to meet once a quarter. So it's like maybe a trend, maybe we're looking at that, but then the data was sold, we were looking at reports. So then we said, why are we looking at stuff that's 3 months old? So then we started meeting monthly. But there's just, we just couldn't understand the data. And honestly, we had the chief here. He couldn't always answer the questions on the analyst side. He would just tell us in round terms or kind of like what he kind of knows about it. But I don't know exactly, other than we just want to help Troutdale to be safe and bring attention to stuff as best we can. But it is from the citizens' perspective, not necessarily what reports reflect. We're looking at the reports, but I think we still are concerned with citizens. How do they feel about it? No, we've had citizens come in and talk to us about like fireworks. I mean, certain things related to public safety, but please tell us too that it's a complaint driven. We're not going to go and try to, just because we see something, we're not going to cite something. So, I don't know. It's kind of, I think it is a little bit of a catch-22. But we just really want to be a place where citizens can tell us about what's happening, or they are experiencing public safety, and we can, as a committee, because coming to the city council is intimidating.
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, for the average citizen, they're probably not, but they might come to the public safety and talk to them about what's going on. And then maybe we can, if we're seeing a pattern, we can address it. Or maybe there's something that we can call to the police officer's attention. Hey, that we do have that ability that we can give a focus each month. That was something that Ray Young got put in place with the contract before he left, was that if there's something that we're seeing, we can ask, hey, Nick, can you add this in? Can you kind of focus? Can you guys start paying attention to this area? So
yeah,
that is helpful.
I would say one of the meaningful aspects that I think the CSEC has brought to this council for policy-wise would be the establishment or reestablishment thereof of a police force in the future, potentially, right? So I think that would be a positive attribute or a positive aspect that has been added that can really inform policy and help us get that direction. And I think that's kind of information that I'm seeking from all the committees, and where is that link to a policy that's really going to be beneficial to the city and the residents of the city. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, we very much appreciate the public being able to go to you and hearing from you. And other questions from the council?
Just real quickly, yeah, thank you, Shelby and Victoria. You've got a really good group. I know there's people with some law enforcement background on that group, and I know how much you guys care, and I'm glad you brought up the survey, because I was gonna thank you for that work that you guys did. We got a lot of really good information on that, and you guys took the initiative and just did it. I love that. So, you know, I guess my concerns are like we heard about possibly a park ranger. I really think you guys should be involved in that, because maybe there's a better solution. But you guys are that falls under your wheelhouse, I think, more so than parks. And I'm also concerned about Glen Auto Park, because the new contract doesn't have the same level of security, and that really in the summertime, that's our biggest concentration of people in the entire city, and we're just going to ignore it. In my opinion, I think that's a big mistake. We used to have, you know, beach patrol and officers on quads, and you know, and it takes that to really manage that situation, because we're getting inundated. We're the swimming hole for Portland, and I don't want to see us lose ground. And then we've been getting a lot of public comment on people talking about uptick in seeing homeless in our town. So that's some feedback I want to give you guys. And also graffiti. There's graffiti at the Sharon Nesbitt Park Trailhead. There's graffiti that's been in Glen Auto Park underneath the bridges for years. And, you know, it's like the old, if you don't fix the broken window, you know, things start to go downhill. So, just a little feedback, no criticism of you guys. I know things have changed since we lost our police, so keep up the good work.
Thanks. I was going to say that was one of the things that we did talk about, for sure being proactive. Now that we had the new trail, the new park, we're just like, well, that's park stuff, but yet that's part of public safety. So we do need to be paying attention. And you bringing up Auto Park, we need to pay attention there too, so safety. So you're absolutely right.
One last thing, I just forgot to say it. You know, they talked about safety along the roadways, and I remember when all the bicyclists got upset when they put the guardrail up so nobody could park there, and the bicycle community had that taken out and allowing illegal parking where the only place you can go along the historic highway in Troutdale is on the fog line if you're walking with inner tubes, rafts, coolers. It's young people and kids. And I've brought it up several times, and nothing. I mean, if I'm an officer seeing that and I just drive by it, I feel like I'm not doing my job because it's clearly posted that it's not allowed to park there. So if there's anything you guys could do before this summer, that'd be great.
All right, let me see if there's any public comment on Zoom. The Public Safety, Equity, and Advisory Committee.
Could it be me?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. This is Sherry. I am on the committee, as Shelby said, and I did want to just mention another thing that we have done is had some stuff put in the Troutdale Champion, some articles, trying to make people aware of different ways of contacting for public safety. So again, advising them if a street light is out in their area, the number to call to report it, or the online site, just things like that, just paying attention to that kind of stuff too. So.
Thank you, Sherry. I forgot we had done those sorts of things, yes.
Excellent. Anybody in the room? All right, well, hey, thank you.
Thank you.
For your excellent work. And we'll move on to agenda item number 6.1, a motion to consider sponsoring the Reynolds High School Senior All-Night Party. And we had a presentation by a student, or no.
It was by a parent.
It was a parent requesting it at the last meeting, and I don't know if there's anyone here tonight. Zach.
Before, we've gone through a couple of these now where we've decided to give money to, you know, good causes and things like that. Before we get into that discussion, I want to know if it's possible for us to check in with, I mean, I know Eric's back there, but like, we have a certain amount every year that's allocated to expenditures of this sort. That's kind of a rough budget number. And I was just wondering if it's possible to see where we are with that. That way we kind of know responsibility-wise kind of where we're at. Overshoot it.
I think I actually had it in my finance folder, but I could ask Eric.
Well, all right, if you're wanting the total amount that was budgeted for possible donations, is that really what you want? I mean, because what I'm worried about is people say, well, there's money left on the floor that we should ask for, and really this should be based on the merits of the request for the city of Troutdale, for our taxpayers. Zach, it's up to you, but I don't see, if we do decide on a number that we want to donate, what I would favor is us asking if there's budget that covers it. So so it's budgeted at the time.
I guess that's what I want to make sure of, yeah.
Yeah,
You're-
and I would agree with that. But I don't want to just say we've got, X amount of dollars and therefore we can do it. Let's discuss the merits of this, and then we'll ask Eric if we've got any budget for it. We want to do it, first of all, and I don't know how this came up. Yes, Carol?
Okay, so I work for Reynolds School District, so it's not a good idea for me to be part of the vote. I think I need to excuse myself from this vote, because it's a conflict of interest.
Are we being asked to consider giving money to Reynolds School District? Is that the idea?
That's my understanding.
Because I'll say right off the bat, on my tax statement, I don't know about anybody else's, I pay a lot of money every year to Reynolds School District. And I think we all do, all citizens of Troutdale. I was thinking this wasn't.
I want to say, so is the all-night party, for instance, in the school district I live in, it's put on by a parent group that is representing the students to do this. It's not for the school directly, but Ed might have a little more.
It is a group of parents who are asking for the funds. My recollection is they're organized as some kind of a nonprofit. They didn't say whether they were qualified under 501 on any of the subsections, but it's a private group that seems to be passed along from parents from year to year to operate a party for the students who are graduating each year. So it is not the school district itself.
Go ahead.
Follow up if I may. I think I remember asking if there was like a rough number per student, so we kind of had an idea of like how many students were sponsoring for something like that. Can you ever get back to us with that information?
They sent something back to us, but you mean when they asked for what kind of general sponsorship number they were asking from us?
Essentially, yeah.
I think they were asking for like 500. That's what they're asking.
They also got back to us with a number of how many
they raised from the.
How many students?
Oh, yeah, they did get back to us on the number of seniors. I think they said it was like 900 seniors.
Yeah.
That attend the all-night party?
Not all of them attend the overnight, but that's how many their senior party has. It was like 945 or something.
This would be a donation to the ones that attend this party.
Right. Yes.
So how many is that?
However many come to the senior party. Yeah. It's like late, I think, is it overnight senior party or is it just that?
My recollection is it was something over 50% attend his party.
Well, I'm sure it's a worthy cause, but go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so I'm familiar with the Corbett one, and it's a group of parents that are putting this on. The check is made out to CHAMPS, which is the acronym for the group. And so it's not made out to the Corbett School, and this one would not be made out to Reynolds School, it would be made out to the parent group. So it's in a way separate from the district.
Which I had thought they said they were a nonprofit.
Yeah.
But
They
I can't
never
recall.
got very far in depth. It was a nonprofit of some sort.
Yes, go ahead.
My concern, I think it's a worthy cause and everything, but you think of all the activities that are in a school, it's like, how do we just pick one? There's baseball, football, wrestling, track and field, chess club, band. I mean, it could go on and on and on. And I think we might be opening a door that we shouldn't.
If I can answer your question.
Okay.
I was involved in an amicus brief in a case in Eastern Oregon, just east of Pendleton, west of Pendleton. I can't remember the name of the park district that was funding the band and athletics and a number of other items in the school district. A tax protester challenged that because he said it was using general government tax money for school purposes, and so it had to be recharacterized as under the $5 cap rather than the $10 general cap under ballot measure 5. And the local court had said, no, that's not a problem, but the Oregon Supreme Court said, yeah, that's a big problem. You've got to recharacterize the money if you're going to do that with tax revenues, which would be something that if you were to do football and those sorts of things in the schools, those fund the public school system. So they would be recharacterized. So that's kind of a hard line not to do that sort of stuff. So this is a little different, but it is a hard line not to do that. The case is Urhausen versus Lane County, if I remember. Not Lane County.
Good work, Ed.
Union County.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Well, I don't know. How different is it from supporting other
It doesn't go to the school.
Clauses at the school?
It doesn't go to the school district. This other funding went to the school district.
I see. That's a difference.
Some of it was even medical help. It went to the nursing staff at the schools in Lane. That was a Lane County case too.
First of all, what's the timeline? I assume the seniors are going to be graduating soon. When do they hold this party? I mean, could we request?
In the month of May.
June. Graduation is June.
Oh, is it?
Is that when the
Senior night parties.
The party is the night of graduation.
I see. I wondered, it's just, we request a more formal accounting of where the money's going to go and something specific that that we would be donating to. What organization is it? I was very impressed with the parent that came and spoke. I mean, she was very eloquent, but it was, we've not been asked this before, and it is taxpayer money, and I think we should be careful. That's all. John, you don't agree?
Taxpayer money. It's not associated with the school.
No, this is taxpayer money because it's from the Troutdale General Fund.
Oh, I see, okay.
It's our taxpayers of Troutdale are being asked, we are, as their representatives, being asked to donate money to something for the students at the school, which does sound like a worthy cause. But anyway, I've said my piece. I do see a hand out there. Jeffrey, go ahead.
I don't know if we're really going to discuss this or not, but I think it's important to hear what everybody has to say about it. When thinking about donating money to something from the city of Troutdale, I've really come to it has to benefit the city of Troutdale. And for instance, the Jazz Festival or the Arts Festival is bringing people, we're donating to a group that is bringing people to the city of Troutdale to congregate, to spend money, to maybe come spend the night. So it is directly benefiting Troutdale by us giving them money, and hopefully that money is coming back to the city or its residents in some certain way. And when thinking about this, well, the senior night party, because I went to Reynolds, was amazing and I had the most fun time and I still think about it, and then every senior should go to it because it was a great time. I don't think that by us donating money to this, it benefits very few. there doesn't bring anything back to the city. And so when I'm thinking about this and giving taxpayer money to something and the taxpayers aren't going to see any return on that, or the city's not going to see any return on that, I have a hard time saying that that's something that we should do. Not that it's not a great cause, and not that it's going to be super fun for these kids, but I do agree with your sentiments of be a little more clear about where the money's going, how it's actually being used, and are they a nonprofit or are they not, and is this something that we should even be doing to start with within the laws of Oregon. But I want to make sure and say what I was thinking so I was clear about it.
Anyone else care to discuss this further? I will open it to public comment since I saw a hand out in the audience. Let's hear from the public.
I do have just kind of a
Jesse,
response to Jeff.
right ahead.
I didn't think of that. It doesn't really financially benefit the city at all. I guess what I was thinking, thought it would be a good idea would be if we could get more kids to go to this graduation party, which would keep them off the street on probably a night that they might go out and make some poor decisions. I don't know. It keeps kids a little bit safer for a small donation. I thought it was a worthy cause, and I think we've all kind of thought, well, it's a worthy cause, but is it our duty to contribute to that? And it's all good points, but I just wanted to say that if it keeps kids safe and we save a life or save an accident or save, something.
All right, anyone else want to weigh in? Well, look, I'll open it. Let me start with, I always start with Zoom for some reason. Does anyone on Zoom wish to comment on this matter?
It's Sherry here again, and I would love to.
Go ahead.
I love, what you're saying. It's a worthy cause, that kind of stuff. I think you guys should pass the hat and you can all throw some in. I don't think you should start funding with taxpayer dollars.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, how about in the room? I saw a couple hands. Victoria, you had your hand up.
Okay. The name of the group is pretty simple. It's SANP, Senior All Night Party. And they are, they've been fundraising a lot. And I know they just had a can and bottle drive. They've been at a lot of the restaurants where the restaurant will give a portion of what you buy that night. And they are nonprofit. And I'm gonna go against my grain here. I usually am cautious on taxpayer dollars, but these are also, the seniors are also citizens of Troutdale and may end up still being citizens. And 500 isn't that much. I mean, I know they have been working hard to get the money to do this. And I just think maybe it would be nice to contribute a little if we have it.
All right, thank you. Victoria,
Thank you again.
You needed to declare a conflict of interest as well.
I'm Shirley Prickett. I'm here in Troutdale. I had all my children have attended an all-night party. It's a safety issue. I knew my kids were where they were supposed to be. They weren't on a road drinking with some underage drinking, and we fundraised. We had a lot of gifts given. We had a lot of community support, but the 500, if you put 500 in, it's that one life is worth more than $500. If that saves one life from somebody going out and getting in an accident and dying, it's worth the $500. As a taxpayer, that would be worth my $500. So it's a safety issue more than anything. Even if half the students, seniors go, that's cutting it 50% of someone getting killed on the road. So that's my thing. It's a safety issue. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Adrian?
Thank you. Adrian Kester again. So I'm coming at this from kind of two perspectives. One is I do have my eldest son is a senior at Reynolds High School. I was actually just texting him to see if he was planning on going to this thing, and I got the typical teenager maybe. So as a parent, I definitely agree with Shirley that the primary concern is being a safety one, and anything you can do at a time of transition to keep vulnerable or impressionable teenagers off the street and potentially keep them from doing something stupid, as teenagers are wont to do, all the better. I also have, in a previous life, I was a high school teacher. I'm a former educator myself. So, and largely to the same opinion is anything you can do to keep those seniors where you know they are under some semblance of supervision, is a good thing. And then also from a citizen standpoint, having the visibility, the optics, that their city cares about what these seniors are doing in order to contribute to their safety during this transition as they're moving from high school students to, with any luck, functional adults. That visibility is a good thing, and I think it is worth any bit of goodwill and optics that we can get out of it. Thank you.
All right. You, Adrian?
Shelby Stephenson, Troutdale. I think it's a very good cause, but I am very conservative about taxpayer money, so I don't want to see you guys give the money to. Yeah, I think you're just opening a can of worms for the future that will just continue to be. Is it a worthy cause? Yes, we can all pass the hat and contribute to it, to safety, but I think taxpayer money has to be thought really carefully before we spend it. So, my 2 cents.
Diane.
Hi, Diane Castillo-White, Troutdale, Oregon. I've had 2 of my kids graduate from Reynolds High School, and I think there was a money machine, and I still remember my son talking about that. He had a blast. What I am suggesting to you is if you do decide to donate, please have a sign there. Say proudly sponsored by the City of Troutdale Council and its residents, and please consider coming to a council meeting, join a committee, or whatever. If you do sponsor it, use it as an opportunity to encourage participation with the city, enhancing your city. That's all I have. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Mayor Ritma, would you allow me just one more comment?
Yes, I was told you had a hand up, but I can't see it on my screen. So please go ahead.
Okay, well, I just wanted to respond to the fact that the Reynolds School District stretches all the way into Portland. So it crosses Portland, Gresham, Wood Village, and Fairview. To assume that Troutdale residents would be the ones that would have to pick up a chunk of the tab or a piece or a tiny bit or whatever we're looking at. It seems a little bit unfair to assume they're all citizens of Troutdale when they are not.
Fair enough.
Just in all fairness, they are asking the other cities for a donation too.
They've gotten
What did Portland give?
Wood Village is doing the 500. That's the only one that I know of so far. But I know that Rose had said that she was also asking Fairview, and I imagine they're asking for it.
Well, do keep in mind that the taxpayers of Troutdale include people that don't send kids to Reynolds. They're in the Barlow district. So part of Troutdale's in Barlow. Anyway, go ahead, John.
Oh, that was what I was gonna say, is that Reynolds had said the other cities were.
All right. By that, I meant for us to donate to Reynolds is any taxpayer money that, for people whose kids don't even go there, or aren't in that district. Yes, Will?
One other thought or comment, there could be a third alternative. We have a new trout route shuttle coming this summer. What if we gift the seniors that show up one free ride on our trout route shuttle? That way it will be something that's sort of an in-kind donation, doesn't really cost us $500 from the budget. However, we can then get a portion of those folks to come back and visit our town and gain from it this summer. Just another idea, there could be other alternatives, but I want to throw there may be a third alternative.
Nice, Will.
All right. Well, look, I guess my suggestion is that we invite more orderly request that identifies the group and we'd say, up to $500, but they should ask, identify who gets the money and what kind of a group they are. And but that's just my suggestion. I wondered if there's a consensus for that. If not, if someone wants to go ahead with a motion, I'm open to anything.
I think that she pretty much defined all of that information when she was here. They're going to, Big Al's? Bullwinkles. They're going to Bullwinkles, which is in Wilsonville. And that's where this $20,000 they're raising will go to pay for this holiday party. So I would like to make a motion that we pay $500 to Sam for the Reynolds holiday party.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? I guess Kenda, call the roll.
Counselor Andrews?
No.
Counselor Allen?
Abstain.
Counselor One?
No.
Mayor Ritma?
No.
Counselor White?
No.
Counselor Davidson?
Yes.
Counselor Lady?
Yes.
I would be happy to pass the hat and contribute.
Yeah, it's a worthy cause, but, all right. Very good. Let's move on to staff communications.
All right, we have the Fire Task Force meeting this Thursday. So I'll be there as soon as I can get there. I have jury duty Thursday, so.
You're kidding.
Joyful. I had it in January. I skipped out in January and got pushed to March. Thought I'd be in better shape. But so we have that going on. We are still waiting for some numbers from Paul before we go down to Salem. Paul is the representative from Ethos. He's supposed to be giving us some pro forma numbers on some infrastructure estimates and things of that nature so that we know what our ask is when we go down to talk with the city of Salem. We also have engaged Tiberius Solutions to run some figures on us to see what a long-term lease for property would look like to eventually generate a return for us on the property. So far, like the number that we've invested is roughly about $7.7 million into the site. We'd like to see if we can recover that cost at some point in time through a negotiated deal with the Ethos group. So we have upcoming conversations on that front, and I'll save the rest for that. On March 17th, I think we have a executive session to discuss the ongoing negotiations on that front. Only reason I bring it up is because we have the town center group here that is asking, so provide them with a little bit of background information that it is still ongoing. And that, get your nets out. We have the smelt dip tomorrow, so it's going to be a busy day. The metal for the Sharon Nesbitt Trail underneath the UP line has come in. It's been welded in. They're putting the lights in currently. We're still waiting on the final sign-off from UP, at least to get back to our contractors on it. But for the most part, the cage is complete. The lights are being installed. The lighting is pretty cool. It's surface is flush with the surface. You don't even see them there as you walk through, but they light it up pretty well. What I've heard, so. Otherwise, business as usual, trying to get things going for budget. I think you'll see in our budget that there's a proposal to implement some of the strategies from our citizen committees this time around, if it's possible. So that'll be a decision for the budget committee and the council, but we'll find those numbers are in there.
All right, thank you. We'll go to council communications. Zach.
Nothing for me tonight. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Carol.
I have a couple. One is eye candy. Are they permitted to be upstairs yet?
We're working on that. So that is a piece that we're working on internally to try to get an interpretation on a grandfather piece for that. We still need to communicate with the City of Gresham Building Code official over there and follow that through with our own building official, Heather in Building Codes Department, and see if there's a way to push that forward so that we can get access to that space and use it like it's been used for ever since its inception. So yeah, it seems odd to me that it wouldn't be grandfathered in, but it's something that we're looking into.
The other one is I really appreciated all the committees that came and talked. I know when I was on a committee, we were floundering at times because we had no direction from city council, and city council had no idea what we were doing. I know that Sandy Glantz attended all of them most of the time. Amazing woman. I don't know how she did it, but she attended, and then she would alert council by saying, you need to really listen to what they're saying. And so based on that, I think that it'd be nice to have committees like their month is March every year, to come to the city council and say, what have you been doing this year? What's going on? So that they know ahead of time, okay, it's coming up. We've got to talk to city council. What are we going to present? I do appreciate getting them all together, and I appreciate you all coming at the last minute. It's frustrating, but I do appreciate you being here. I like the idea of having a liaison. I know that we can't say or direct a committee, but it is nice to know. When I was on the committee, it was nice to know that we were being heard by a counselor. I mean, it just made the whole world difference that we made a difference. And so I think it'd be a great idea if we could. Maybe not talk tonight, but at another time put it on an agenda to talk about possibly doing liaisons to the city, to the committees. That way we can bring back, this is what they discussed this month, this is important. Anyway, that's my two piece. Oh, I could do lots more, but that's about it.
I want to reemphasize what Carol said. It was really nice to hear from the committees what you're doing. And I truly mean, I know it's like a redundant question I kept asking, but I've found myself lately sometimes pondering what we're doing up here and how we can be more effective and utilize our committees more effectively and have that two-way communication that we were really talking about. And you can direct us and we can direct you of what things we are that are important to this council. Each council is going to be different. There's going to be different people, but really emphasizing what's important to us, what we ran on, and having that communication and being able to tell you, hey, you're working on great things, keep doing this, that's great. Here's some other things that we think might be important for you to work on. I want to kind of challenge this myself and this council to maybe have a session where we kind of talk about, hey, these are the things that these committees are working on. Is there anything within this that we want to really emphasize for them? Is there anything that they're working on that is not important to us, and we can really give them better direction? And I'm not sure exactly how to accomplish that, other than maybe someone else has some great ideas. But I already kind of picked out a couple things that just for like, I think we can give direction a little bit better, give you, and then I really love the idea of having the committees come to us and present more often. I mean, I've been here for like 3.5 years now, and periodically committees come, and it's great. Maybe it's on something very singular, and that's great. Gives us the information, but just a broad spectrum of what you're working on, why you're working on those things, and maybe there's things that you would like to take on also, I think are important. Just from my perspective, I feel like I'm underutilizing the committees, and I don't want to feel like that because you're just as important to this whole process as we are. Sometimes I think I ended up talking with Jordan Wittrin a while ago at one point, and he's like, dude, committee work is way harder than being on council. So there's a lot of work and effort that's put in. And so I want to just say thank you, and hopefully for myself, I can be more help to get things done, or help to give direction on what needs to be done. So, but again, thank you.
It sounds like we ought to have a work session. When we get through all the budget stuff, we haven't had one in a while, and that would be a good subject for a work session. How we liaison with committees and how to make it work. Last night I went to a history pub at Edgefield. That is something it's an evening program. They do them once a month except in the summer. And it was on the American flag, Old Glory, history of it, very interesting. They always are interesting. I mention it because Monday just before the next council meeting in April, there's one on the Multnomah County Fair, which used to be held in Gresham. And these are held at 7 o'clock, Blackberry Hall at Edgefield. That's up above the water tower. Anyway, there's a $5 admission to go in, but it's just fascinating. I also want to announce one other history thing. The Crown Point Country Historical Society built a gorgeous museum in Corbett. It's across the street from the fire station in Corbett, if you know where that is. They built just a magnificent museum, and on March 21st, Saturday, 10 a.m., they're dedicating it. The public is invited. Consider going to that, and that's all I have. Other than I heard from Glenn about the smelt. I went down today to see the smelt, and by God, we couldn't see one. But I'm hoping it'll be, things are right with the world. They're running in the Sandy.
Well, I guess
should cover the big story. Tomorrow at noon, ODFW opened up the Sandy River for smelt dipping until 7 at night. You have to have a fishing license down. It's a 10-pound limit, not a 25-pound limit that people are used to. They are patrolling it, so be careful. And you have to dip your own smelt. You can't have somebody dip them for you. And we have carried on, my wife and I have carried on the tradition of Glen Auto of renting the nets to the public. And, you know, it used to be, we would have been, first sign of smell, we would have been open and renting nets until midnight every night. But with these new rules, it's kind of just a placeholder, and it's really, I think, for the community, because we have easy access down a paved boat ramp. So we get a lot of the families and children and elderly that go there. And as Dave said, though, we may have missed our window. It was a small run, and I did see a lot more numbers a few days ago. And right before the meeting, I went down there to look, and I saw some dead ones. We're still gonna try, and it could be that this is a pilot run, and the majority of the run hasn't even happened yet. So I could be eating my words by tomorrow.
So then would they reopen?
Yeah, they had a huge run on the Cowits, and they opened it for more than one day. So sometimes the run will only go to the Cowits. They usually always go to the Cowits for some reason. They only go up glacier-fed stream. Sometimes they'll go up some obscure stream in the Olympic Peninsula that's like a creek, and it just fills the entire creek with fish. So they're a mystery fish. No one really knows very much about them. They don't grow the algae on their scale like most fish, and that's how they tell where fish are migrating or feeding. So they really are mystery fish, but I think they're really important that you get some and eat some. When we rent the nets, we take a driver's license to make sure we get our net back. And some of these guys, I'm guessing, oh, he's probably like 60, and I've got his driver's license. I go, he's 98 years old. I think it's because he's been eating smelt his whole life. So they're really important to the early settlers and the Native Americans, because that was the first food coming out of winter. So do your part, dip some smelt tomorrow. I like Dave's idea of having a work session on the committee liaison. We were always told if we go to the committees, we can't say anything. So I don't really see the importance of having someone sitting there and unable to participate. And it can also present, like, you could help create momentum. I saw when we had a liaison with the old chamber, for example, and it was a disaster. We ended up losing the chamber, and partially because of that, because it was so much pressure and power for one counselor. I like it better when we work as a team. And I think we should keep separate from our committees, and there's nothing that stops us from assigning them work, and we do it quite often. So I think that's a better approach, but I'd be happy to talk about it in a work session. That's all I have.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a liaison, or at least some two-way communication with the committees, so we know what they're doing and they can ask questions of us, you know. It seems kind of silly to not have much communication. But, and then with this Reynolds School District, forgive me for bringing it back up for the graduation party, but maybe we could offer them some kind of ad space in the Champion, just to kind of like maybe give some contact information of where people can donate if they want to, just to not leave them completely high and dry. That's it.
Thank you for all the committee people that came. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, well, I would entertain a
Make
motion.
a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.